Okay, well, very good. And I know this is going to be an ongoing process, and we'll be talking again soon, but I appreciate the call back this morning. And Danielle, if you're out there listening, good luck. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. 301-334-4272, 301-334-3800, the numbers to call. It's Train of Thought this morning on 92.3 The Train, 7 minutes in front of 10 o'clock. What I'm saying, we love to have callers on the radio. That's what we're here for, doing the show for, to let you kind of get involved. But take the extra step then after you get involved. And I know you can't go to all the meetings. I'm not asking you to do that. But if you have an interest in something, and I'm pretty sure that maybe even up to 100% of our elected officials, whether they be a delegate, a senator, the Board of Education, the county commissioners, even downstate, the governor probably would like to hear from you. Maybe would not appreciate some of the comments, or that he's not going to get support or whatever, but it's hard to make decisions based on guesses. We don't have a lot of public opinion polls out here, you know? We got people that have opinions, but they talk amongst themselves. Well, it'll take a little bit of an effort, but I am encouraging you to go to the meetings. Look, that meeting at Southern Middle School earlier this week, there were 200 people sitting, over 100 people standing in that cafeteria to hear what was going to happen. There is interest. And there was, I don't know, maybe about 10 people got up to speak and make their feelings known. And it wasn't the first meeting on the issue. We're never going to get to the point where we have 200 people showing up at a meeting, a public meeting on a regular basis, but to have a dozen would be nice, huh? Another caller calling in on Train of Thought. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Sid Nazelrod.
Hey, Sid, this is your time of the hour.
Yeah, how about that?
Go ahead.
I tell you, I got to give kudos this week to the county commissioners for stepping up, to take and, kick in another, $500,000 to take and try to save the schools. But it would have been nice if they could have kicked in the whole shooting match.
Well, yeah, that would have been nice, but as the assessments are going down, that would have been really, really devastating to other programs.
Just think a minute, though.
Okay.
Okay, the $650,000 that they shelled out for the Adventure Sports Center did come out of the general fund, even though it's going to get supposedly paid back.
Yeah.
They could have done that.
Well, yeah. But that's possible. Technically, you're right.
And it was a good political move for them because it kind of got the fire out from underneath their kettle because, people are still hopping mad over this Adventure Sports Center.
Well, yeah, people are up. I've heard it from a number of people that, hey, we got this whitewater course, and now I'm a part owner. It's kind of like a little inside joke.
Right.
Yeah, but I think, though, Sid, and you can speak to this as well, what we need to get is people out there and get them involved when the decisions are being made.
I agree with that. You and I have talked about this before, and it's always been kind of a fallacy of Garrett County.
It doesn't make a lot of sense
to
say I would have done this if you didn't speak your piece when you had your chance.
That's right. But I will say this, the bad thing, and it's been with all the boards of county commissioners, usually when they have a public meeting, you know when they have it?
And?
During the working hours.
Well, sometimes they do that. But, that's a bit of an excuse too, Sid, in that you can always...
It's a bit of an excuse, but people got to work. They can take and make these public meetings of an evening where people could take and turn out.
They always keep the written record open for a period of a week or two at least after those public meetings.
Well,
so
that's true.
If you do have something to say, you can even say it that way.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying, but I think basically, and I'm going to be blunt, we've been lazy.
Oh,
all of us.
I agree with you 100% on that.
We've been lazy, and as an electorate, we've been asleep at the switch too. If we didn't want these things, we should be out there saying no.
And look, every time when there's election, we have so very few people that'll take and run.
Right. Well, right. Correct.
And I tell you what, I urge people this time around, the next time around, that the Board of Education comes up, get out there and run. If you don't like what's going on, get out there and run and get those people out of there.
Well,
in the same way with the Board of County Commissioners, if you don't like what you're doing, file and run and get those people out of there.
yeah, well, that's the way it's supposed to work, but it hardly works that way because I think genuinely people are shy.
Well, I know that.
I think that's part of it. It's real tough to get out there and put your name out.
Believe me, I know. I ran for political office twice.
You did it, so you've done it. And kudos to you. I don't know if I would have voted for you or I did vote for you. I can't even remember back that far. But I will tell you that I respect you more because you had enough guts to put your name on the ballot and put your feelings out there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I got to give hats off to Rodney Durst. I've known Rodney Durst biggest part of my life, and that took a lot of guts for him to take and vote to take and keep the schools open.
Yeah. Well, but, I'm going to say this one more time. Guts is right, but at the same time, without a guarantee that the state money was going to be coming, and they had to make a decision by the end of the month, as a board member, they were almost forced to make that vote.
I agree with Delegate Beitzel. I think that they could have delayed that a little bit. I think they could have, I think they jumped the gun. They were listed a little bit too premature.
Well, if they did not do what they did the other night, and the state did not come through with the money, they could not have laid off the teachers. I don't think they could not reduce in force because they were facing an April 30th deadline to make a decision on the budget. They had to have it in balance for the next fiscal year based on what they had, and that's what Someone brought up at the meeting the other night, well, maybe they should have gone to the courts and got an injunction to buy a little bit more time. Well, that's a possibility. Would it have happened? I don't know. But they still had the responsibility as a board member to put out a balanced budget. They couldn't say, well, we're going to hope that the General Assembly is going to put the money out here.
Right.
Because that would have been a little bit more of a crapshoot. The big question to me is, what is going to happen when, and I think it's a when, not an if, when the state comes forth with the $1.12 million.
You and I are on the same page right there. I have the same question.
Yeah, and then you're going to go back, and the groups from Dennett Road and Kitzmiller are going to go to the next board meeting after that and saying, hey, you got the money now, open us back up.
You know what? I hope it happens, but on the other hand, I'm sorry to say I feel down in my heart I think it's a done deal.
All right. Well, there you go. Now you know.
But, I support them 100%. I hope they're able to keep those schools open. But I tell you what, down deep in my heart, it's just like once the cattle get out, it's hard to get them back in the pen.
Well, that may be true, and it may be because even the board members that voted against it or voted in favor of it are going to say, look, we have put our community through the ringer. We're going to do this again now and then again in 11 months next year. We're going to have all our committee meetings again at the beginning of January, starting next year to close the schools again. And I think that's a defensible position.
It is. I admit to that. But I tell you, we are in some very hard, very perilous times right now.
Yeah, and we got to get more people involved, Sid.
That's right.
All right. Hey, I appreciate the call this morning.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Train of thought on 92.3 The Train. We run over a little bit today. That's okay. we can do that because we want to be open to discussion and open to opinion. We'll do it again next Friday on 92.3 The Train. Our program will start a little bit after 9 o'clock, and we'll continue until the cows come home. Or until we finish it up. Usually by 10 o'clock is what we aim for. But we will go further if we need to. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll be back with more of our programming next week on Train of Thought on 92.3 The Train. WWHC FM in Oakland, Maryland.